In the scorching heat of Brisbane, on a December morning in 1974, something was brewing. Something that made the English players sweat. And no, it wasn't just the heat. It was something far more terrifying. A storm. A storm of pace, aggression, and destruction. A storm named Jeff Thomson. He wasn't just a fast bowler. He was a slingshot of terror. A man who redefined speed and fear. But this wasn't just a cricket match. No, this was a horror movie. And England had unknowingly signed up as the main victims. When the English team arrived in Australia for the Ashes, they had every reason to feel confident. They were the defending champions, fresh off a dominant home season, where they had demolished India and held their own against a strong Pakistan side. Under captain Mike Dennis, they boasted a solid fast bowling attack and a resilient batting lineup. Australia, on the other hand, wasn't exactly sending shivers down anyone's spine. Dennis Lillee, their most feared bowler, was making a comeback after a career-threatening back injury. And apart from him, their attack looked, well, ordinary. The only name floating around was this Thomson fellow. But let's be honest, to England, he was an afterthought. And why wouldn't he be? He had played just one test before, and that too, 2 years earlier, where he went wicketless for 110 runs. His slinging action looked awkward rather than threatening. England had already seen him in a warm-up game, and while he showed some speed, he seemed erratic and wavered. But what they didn't know was that Thomson had been instructed by Greg Chappell to hold back, to not give the English a glimpse of what was coming. England were actually shocked when Thomson was named in the Australian 11 for the first test in Brisbane. We never thought they'd pick Jeff. We thought it was a different Thomson, Froggy, who played for Victoria, recalled David Lloyd. And then came the statement from that Thomson guy, the one they should have been worried about. I enjoy hitting a batsman more than getting him out. I like to see blood on the pitch. Ah yes, just some good old Aussie hospitality. England chuckled. They thought it was bravado, a bit of pre-series banter. But as they were about to find out, it wasn't a joke, it was a prophecy. Australia batted first and posted 309 on the board. The English bowlers, perhaps looking to establish dominance, peppered the Australians with bouncers. And yes, you guessed it right. It was a decision they would soon regret. If England wanted a short ball battle, they would give them one. But at a pace the Englishmen had never faced before. As the English openers walked out, they had no idea they were about to step into a nightmare. The Gabba crowd held its breath as Thomson marked his run-up. He came steaming in, that slinging action, looking almost lazy, until the ball left his hand. It reared off the pitch like a rocket, and poor Brian Luckhurst barely caught a glimpse of it before the ball screamed past him into Rod Marsh's gloves.
Rodney jumped up and it smacked into his glove. He said, "Christ, that hurt." He said, "But I love it."
Then came the second ball. Luckhurst barely fended it off, lobbing it straight to Rod Marsh. First one down. 1 run later, Dennis Amiss faced his first Thomson thunderbolt. The ball skidded off the pitch and rocketed into his chest, cramping him for room. Before he could react, the ball had ricocheted off his glove and into the hands of Terry Jonah at gully. Out. And also a broken thumb. England was 11 for 2, but John Edrich and Tony Greig fought back with the counter-attack, displaying bravery against the relentless onslaught. They doubled the score by stumps, giving England a glimmer of hope. But on the third morning, that hope was crushed in seconds. Thomson resumed his spell. His first ball of the day was a brutal lifter, forcing Edrich into an awkward fend that ballooned to Ian Chappell at slip. The crowd gasped at every ball, some in shock, others in horror. Bouncers whizzed past helmets. Well, not helmets, because back in 1974, there were no helmets, just caps, a bat, and sheer survival instinct. But survival wasn't an option against Thomson.
I love bowling quick, so I love scaring shit out of you.
Tony Greig played a heroic innings, standing firm amid the chaos, scoring a brave 110. Thanks to him, England managed to post 265, trailing by just 44 runs. But Australia, sensing the advantage, came out attacking in the second innings and declared at 288 for 5, setting England a tough target and, more importantly, forcing them to face Lillee and Thomson again. By the fifth morning, England's fate was already sealed. They tried to fight, but resistance was useless. Edridge, already struggling with a fractured hand, batting with painkillers, was Thomson's first victim. His off-bail was sent flying by yet another Thomson rocket. A miss, batting with his broken thumb, came in hoping for mercy. Instead, he got another thunderbolt that leapt at his pace. Edge, third slip, gone. Enter Mike Dennis. The English captain barely had time to settle before he was welcomed with a searing short ball that smacked him right on the shoulder. Shaken but fighting, he tried to play his way through, only to guide another Thomson missile into the waiting hands of Walters. Tony Greig strode out, England's last real hope, but Thomson, now with the wind behind him, produced the most unplayable delivery of the match. A Yorker so fast, so precise, Greig barely saw it before it smashed into his pads and crashed into the stumps. By now, England wasn't just losing, they were terrified. Alan Knott was always a fighter, but even he was undone, ironically, by a rare poor delivery from Thomson. A wide half volley should have been put away, but such was the psychological trauma inflicted that Knott ended up dragging it onto his stumps. The end was swift. Mike Hendrick, England's tailender, found the pace simply too much. Another Thomson thunderbolt, another missed shot, another shattered set of stumps, and England was bowled out for 166. Jeff Thomson, the once unknown entity, had dripped through them, finishing with 6 for 46 in the innings, 9 for 105 in the match. He frightened me, and I was sitting 200 yards away, wrote Keith Miller. In the aftermath, the toll was evident. John Edridge, battered and bruised, had batted with injections. But post-match x-rays revealed his hand was completely broken. Dennis Amiss had suffered a fracture of his own. Mike Dennis took a blow so hard to the chest that his pendant got embedded in his skin. England had been brutalized. The selectors back home scrambled for reinforcements, eventually sending a 42-year-old Colin Cowdrey to try and combat the madness. When Thomson heard the news, he simply smirked and said, "He'll cope it as quick as anyone." The message was clear. This was just the beginning. The 1974 Ashes belonged to Lillee and Thomson. But on that fiery Brisbane pitch, it was Jeff Thomson who truly arrived. Fear had found a new face, and it bore a cheeky Australian grin. So guys, that's it for today's video. If you wish to look at how good was Dennis Lillee or Jeff Thomson, click on the videos being displayed on your screen now. And if you want to relive the heroics of Lillee and Thomson in the second test of the 1974 Ashes, let me know. I'd love to share the video with you. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. Until next time, keep watching this beautiful game. See you soon.